And good morning, Man Hour Nation. Championship weekend is officially here. We have the Ravens taking on the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Detroit Lions. It's a Fact or Crap Friday, so we're going to deem if whatever's coming out of my mouth is a fact or if it indeed is a crap. We got keys to victory, I guess. We got keys how to stop Lamar Jackson. We got keys to how to let CMC eat. But first.
And now, Mike's thoughts.
Atlanta Falcons fans are pissed off. Atlanta Falcons fans are very, very upset. They thought they were going to get one of the greatest coaches of all time in Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick interviewed for 3 full days down there. They were whining and dining him, and Bill Belichick left. Insert Mostert, bada bing, bada boom. Atlanta Falcons have their new head coach. So the new head coach for the Atlanta Falcons is Raheem Mostert. With that being said, why are Atlanta fans so upset? Why are you Atlanta Falcons fans really so upset? You guys got a really, really good coach. A coach that could probably lead you to the promised land if you wanted to. Now, he is no Bill Belichick by any stretch of the imagination. But let's just be honest. Bill Belichick was a 3-year deal, maybe 4-year deal tops, right? The man's like 70-some odd years old. How long do you expect him to coach? Bill Belichick needs to or wants to go into a situation where there's a fix right now. You are an underperforming team, i.e. Buffalo Bills, i.e. Dallas Cowboys, i.e. maybe Cleveland Browns. Maybe, I'm not for sure. But he wants to go in there and be the fix that fixes it all and send them to the promised land. So Atlanta Falcons fans, slow your roll, baby. I see people in our Atlanta Falcons groups out here. They are upset. Why do we spend so much time on Bill Belichick if we didn't even want him? To appease you guys. That's what it come down to. That is the only reason why the Atlanta Falcons interviewed, because you fans were saying, we want Bill. You want Raheem Mostert. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that while I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the court. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzz beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buck with the Man Hour, resort of manhourradio.com. Check out the new and improved website, dropping up new little tidbits each and every day. And bada bing, bada boom, by the time March rolls around, I should have the full website from the ground up. We are completely scrapping the old website, building a brand new website full with APIs, forms, blog sections. It's going to look a lot like ESPN, just strictly in like NFL. So if you guys need some stats, you need some scores, you need some stats from 1987, come on over to manhourradio.com and check it out. But it is championship weekend, and we got the Ravens taking on the Chiefs. We got the Detroit Lions taking on the San Francisco 49ers, and we're going to give you keys to the victory, and we're going to determine if those are fact or if those are indeed a little bit of crap. But before we get too carried away, we got to welcome some people into the show here. We got my man Wayne G from the NFL Experts into the show here. Wayne G is live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. East Coast time over there at the NFL Experts, and they're, let's just be honest, they're kicking our butts and picks right now. It is what it is. But every dog has his day. But he says thinking Bill could still land with Dallas, Philadelphia, Tampa, Buffalo, outside chance Chicago. Listen, I think Bill Belichick to the Dallas Cowboys would be a very dangerous feat for many, many people. Now, I don't know would you fire Mike McCarthy like his last year? Do you let Bill Belichick sit out a year and then bring him out? I think Tampa, Todd Bowles has to go. His management skills, lack of taking a timeout to end that game, that's instantly got to put you out. And the Buffalo Bills, I've been saying it for like a while. The Buffalo Bills do make a lot of sense. Chicago, they don't want to win. Let's just be honest. They don't want to win, but a person who wants to win is the next person I'm going to introduce in the chat, and that is the man, the myth, the legend, John freaking Hoffman. What's up, Hoffy? Good morning, good sir. You are on mute, Hoffy. Good Lord, you are so bad at this sometimes.
Rookie. What's up, Michael Buckeister? What's up, Man Hour Nation? I am looking forward to championship weekend.
You are looking forward to championship weekend because you have two teams that you're rooting for. You have the 49ers in there. You have the Ravens in there. Both of your favorite teams now. You can sprinkle a little bit of Chiefs in there too.
No, I like me some Tay-Tay.
Oh, you like some Tay-Tay? So I heard the perfect script here, Hoffy.
Uh-oh.
Heard the perfect script, right? So now that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are a thing, right? Taylor Swift and all the Swifties are bringing a lot of viewership into the Chiefs games. Eminem has come out of his closet and been like active, like on the Go Detroit Lions. I've been a fan of you since ever, yada, yada, yada. Now it's going to be a Detroit Lions, Kansas City Chiefs halftime, and Taylor Swift and Eminem are going to have a battle before the show. Like, who is the bigger artist?
I like it.
Let's just be honest. If this was truly like a script in like NFL, Eminem plus Taylor Swift, Detroit Lions versus the Kansas City Chiefs, I think the viewership would be off the charts. Let's just be honest. Usher playing at halftime would kind of be like, who the hell is Usher? We got Eminem and Tay-Tay. Let them sing right here, right now, right? But it is what it is. It is what it is. But Hoffy,
I know who the real shady is.
Is it the guy with the white t-shirt and the blonde hair? Oh, no? Okay.
Nope.
Well, the real Slim Shady is going to stand up because we have 3 ways that each team can win. I spent the night kind of tinkering around with some ideas while working on the website, playing a little Madden, watching Love After Locked Up. You haven't watched that show? It's a really good freaking show, Hoffy. I don't know why, but I love watching train wrecks. But nonetheless, I have drawn up a few keys of victory for each and every game here, and then I'm going to kick it to Hoffy, and I'm going to ask him a simple factor crap question. And if you guys don't know what factor crap is, I put out a question, and Hoffy's like, "No, that's crap. That's stupid. Buck, you're a racist. Buck, you are what's the word? A clown, right? Or man, Buck, you're the smartest man alive."
I don't use those words.
Yeah, you do. Whatever. But with that being said, what game do you want to kick off first, Hoffy? Do you want to start on the NFC side of things or AFC side of things?
I say we start with the NFC because I don't see WB Ant chiming in yet, talking his smack.
We will start with the San Francisco 49ers taking on the mighty, mighty Detroit Lions. So, guys, there are a few keys of victory that I think each team needs to do to successfully win this game. Let's start with the San Francisco 49ers. Number 1, I do not want them to overuse Deebo Samuel early. We don't know the status of Deebo Samuel's health. He has been limited in practice all week long. And the simple fact of the matter is, I want him to play the whole game. So therefore, first quarter, second quarter, maybe late second quarter, use him as a decoy. Just use him to make them think that the Detroit Lions make the Detroit Lions think like, hey, Deebo's not ready. He is just out here. Let's start focusing on CMC. Let's start focusing on Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. Then bada bing, bada boom, Deebo's wide open, right? So do not overuse Deebo early. Number 2 is do not let Brock Purdy become a gunslinger. One of the biggest downfalls for the San Francisco 49ers in these large championship games is Kyle Shanahan forgets that forgets the play scheming, the play calling, what he's done all season to get him to this point. Most notably, the 28-10 Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl loss. They were up 28-10. The whole game plan changed, and bada bing, bada boom, the Chiefs ultimately won that game. So Brock Purdy is a good game manager. Brock Purdy is nickeling, diming you down the field, handing the ball off to CMC. Do not let him become a gunslinger, meaning throwing the ball downfield, throwing the ball into triple coverage. 4 interception games is not good for Brock Purdy. Side note, every game that Brock Purdy has not turned the ball over, he has won that game. And then my third key to victory for the San Francisco 49ers is take Aiden Hutchinson out of the game. Aiden Hutchinson has been a man, a myth, a legend the last 4 or 5 weeks of this season. He has a 29% win rate on passes, so I mean 30% of the time he is getting to the quarterback on pass plays, and he has 8 sacks in just the last 4 games. So obviously Aiden Hutchinson is doing his thing, doing good work. So don't overuse Debo. Don't let Brock Purdy become a gunslinger, and take Aiden Hutchinson out of the game. Now for the San Francisco 49, or sorry, for the Detroit Lions, I want them to contain CMC. When we look at CMC, he is arguably the MVP of the league. Yes, Lamar Jackson is going to win the award, more than likely, yes. If he doesn't, CMC should. But CMC is the key factor for the 49ers. He is what makes them click. He is what makes them so dangerous. You need to contain CMC, keep him under 60 yards. Anytime he gets over 75 yards and in the end zone, it seems like the San Francisco 49ers win the game over and over and over again. Number 2, the Detroit Lions need to have a clean special teams. They need to be perfect on special teams. No missed field goals, no missed PATs, no bad kickoffs or kickoff returns. They need to have very, very clean special teams, because we've seen it all postseason long. 1 missed field goal here, 1 missed field goal there. Buffalo Bills, Packers, for examples, cost you the game. So clean special teams over and over and over again. And then, lastly, I want you to spread the ball around the offense. Yes, you do have David Montgomery that has 90 yards so far this postseason. Yes, you do have Jahmyr Gibbs that has 98 yards so far this postseason. But don't forget about Amon-Ra St. Brown. Don't forget about Sam Laporta. Oh, by the way, you just signed Zach Ertz. Let him maybe get the ball a little bit. And maybe let Jonathan People-Jones eat as well. So I want them to spread the ball around the offense and be very, very effective. So Hafi, when you hear all those keys to the victory, let me ask you this question. Fact or crap? Can the Detroit Lions stop/contain CMC in this game?
They can, but they won't.
Can, but they won't. Why not? Because CMC is just that good, or what?
Yeah, I think CMC. I think really what yes, I understand that you really got to take CMC out of the game, but I would say it's more important to take Brandon Ayuk out of the game. I mean, he's put together a pretty productive season. He's been the top graded wide receiver against man-to-man, something that the Lions secondary has really struggled against. And I think that's kind of really the defense you have to play against these 49ers. So I think that Brandon Ayuk is going to get, I think he's ranked in 30th as far as passes thrown to, but 7th or 8th in catches. So I think that without, I think you're going to have to, put a lot more of the, the pressure as far as what you normally expect from Deebo Samuel on Brandon Ayuk. So I think that that's more so the key is, eliminating Brandon Ayuk more so than CMC. I think you should, let CMC get his, but try and shut down, the rest of the offense.
So I see what you're saying there. Kind of if you have a 3-headed monster, you can't shut down all 3, worry about one, and you can contain the other 2. I get what you're saying on that point, but CMC is a type of player that if you let him eat, he cannot be stopped. Like seriously, like when you see CMC starting to get going, starting to get rolling downhill, he is a unstoppable force. He just keeps chugging along, and chugging along. Well, wasn't it like he had like a touchdown like 15 straight games or something ridiculous like that? It was just
He set the record.
yeah, like he is just a man among boys out there when he is effectively running the rock. So with that being said, I do think that the Detroit Lions can contain him, meaning under 75, 80 yards. I think they can do that. We've seen the Green Bay Packers do it. They held CMC to under 98 yards. Did score 2 key touchdowns, but that's besides the point. I want you to keep the yardage low and make them kind of force the ball down CMC's throat. So I do think that it is a fact that the Detroit Lions can contain CMC. Now, how much of that containment will spill over to the rest of the team? Like, will it take away the ability to defend Debo? Will it take the ability to defend Brandon Ayuk? And we're still forgetting about George Kittle. Still, probably he is probably one of the best tight end, or he is the best tight end in the league right now over Travis Kelce. Yes, I said it as a Chiefs fan. George Kittle is better than Travis Kelce, but the Detroit Lions have to contain him 100%. So let's go ahead and jump back into the chat here, Hoffy. We got a lot of people popping in here, and John says, good morning, fellers. What's up, John? Glad you're here. Ant is here, Hoffy, so we'll be talking about his Ravens very, very, very soon. And John says, Detroit all day. The run game is too strong. So, Hoffy, I was ridiculed on the old Facebook page, which is nothing new. Every time I put out a clip, it's a very clickbaity clip, right? And I pick and choose what I say to make it sound like I say something totally different just to make people mad. But I do think that the Detroit Lions do have a very, very strong running game. And I do think that they have a deeper running back field than the San Francisco 49ers. But, Hoffy, who has the better running game in your eyes, the San Francisco 49ers or the Detroit Lions?
I mean, CMC is an absolute stud, but I really do like the two-headed monster in the Detroit Lions backfield in Montgomery and Gibbs. I think it's, I mean, like Tim Smith said, CMC is scary, but at the same time, Gibbs and Montgomery, a two-headed monster like that is pretty scary in itself. I'm not trying to waffle this, but I'll take either or. I really could, if you have either one of those, the two-headed monster or CMC, I don't think you can complain. But I'm going to go with CMC for this one.
Yeah, and
just because I think Gibbs, give him another year. I mean, I think he's already there with, being a stud, but
right.
Give him another year or two to kind of figure out the league and figure out, just kind of his, his reins and whatnot. Let him gather all that. But CMC right now, but I'll take either or.
Yeah, and I definitely respect the waffle, just because you have one player versus two players, right? You have David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs versus CMC. Obviously, 2 is better than 1. So with that being said, I would have to take the Detroit Lions running game because I've said it many, many times. What if CMC goes down? The 49ers are not a very good team. Yes, you do have Elijah Mitchell still. That guy has like 20 carries all season long. Debo Samuels has more carries than Elijah Mitchell. So if it comes down to a running game, which I think it will, give me the edge to the Detroit Lions. So that brings us up to our next factor crap, Hoffy. Obviously, I think it is going to be a very, very physical game. It is going to be coming down to a war of attrition at the end of the day. The Detroit Lions are potentially going to miss 2, if not 3 linemen in this game. So factor crap, Hoffy. The team that has the more rushing yards wins this game.
I'll go with fact. Because I think if the two-headed monster goes off, that works in their favor. I think if CMC goes off, that works in their favor. But another key that I have, we kind of talked about, they're going to get theirs per se, and CMC is going to get his and whatnot. But I think, the linebackers and the safeties for the 49ers, Amon St. Brown's going to get his. So I think really what you need to do is, safety over the top, make sure he doesn't beat you. But I think, a key to the Lions offense and being successful is going to be their tight end, Laporta. He's gone for over 100 yards in 4 of 6 games with at least 6 catches in 6 consecutive games. Like I said, the Lions are going to force feed Amon St. Brown. But if Laporta can kind of, expose the linebackers of, San Francisco and get his, then that's really going to benefit them. But I'll go with fact. Team with most rushing yards is going to win this game.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with fact as well on this, because when you have more rushing yards, you normally control the clock. And I think the team that has more time of possession at the end of the day will ultimately win this game. I don't think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be a very physical, very slug it out game. First team to 20 probably going to win this game. Let's just call it how it is. First team to 20 wins. So, Hoffy, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the comments here and address some of these comments. Carson Lang says Josh Allen gets the MVP. Josh Allen should get the MVP. Him or CMC definitely should get the MVP. They are very, very good players. They're definitely most valuable for their team. John People says pressure Purdy, press Kittle, and be physical on defense is a key to Detroit Lions victory. I forgot. We need to pressure Brock Purdy as well. When Brock Purdy is under distress, underneath pressure, he does make those rookie mistakes, you can say. I mean, he is still a second-year player, even though he has more experience in the playoffs than Jared Goff not.
Yeah,
Goff,
last year the 49ers let Mike McGlinchey walk in free agency. They, relied this year on Colton McKivitz to replace that, that hole in the offensive line. He's ranked 47th of all tackles. There's no way they're going to have Hutchinson go up against Williams. They're absolutely going to attack McKivitz there. He's allowed, 9 sacks this year. That's kind of highlighted some of his issues is in that pass protection. You're going to need to give Brock Purdy some time in the pocket. The Packers were able last week to put some pressure on him, and that definitely complicated, things for Purdy. So, you're definitely going to need to protect Brock Purdy and allow him time to, go through his progressions and allow George Kittle to kind of open up that seam down the middle and get some of those big plays, because that is really the key to the 49ers success is, getting a lot of those big plays. I mean, I think Brock Purdy led the league in pass yard attempts or per attempt, whatnot. So you're going to need to protect Brock Purdy to allow him to get the ball down the field.
Yeah, a very, very good point here. But Wayne G brings up even a better point, and he says 49ers were gouged by Aaron Jones. Jahmyr Gibbs is averaging 7 yards per carry versus Tampa Bay. This is a recipe for disaster. Also, let's not forget, though, Wayne G, Aaron Jones was a man on a mission. This man is still running in Dallas unfreaking touched, right? I mean, Aaron Jones looked very, very good, Hoffy. Like, him sitting out most of the season gave him some fresh legs for the playoffs, and it was a very, very good game for Aaron Jones. Jameson says the Lions will be missing 2 of their best offensive linemen, so they will be able to protect Goff. Unlikely. Protection is going to be key, right? But Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions are quick of getting the ball out. They're boom, 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 2 seconds and they're out. So can Chase Young, can Nick Bosa, can Eric Armstead get to Jared Goff in 2-3 seconds? They can maybe get in his face, but I don't see any sacks happening, unfortunately. And is in the chat as well. He says nope, because he can't. Nope, because he also can catch out of the backfield. I got him rushing for 65 to 70 yards at least. Yes, CMC is very effective on the catching in the passing game as well. I will give you that, Ant. Carson Lang says CMC won't be stopped because the Niners have too many weapons to make sure CMC doesn't beat them. I see what you're saying, Carson, but at the same time, the offense is effectively run through CMC. What makes him so effective is he is so versatile. You do see him going into the slot. You do see him going into receiver, playing a fullback, tailback, right? If you take him out of the game, Debo then comes into the backfield. That shortens your wide receiver core. It is a bad day for anybody if CMC gets stopped in the end. Jameson says Kittle, CMC, Ayuk, and Samuel all going to eat. Jennings will play as well. I think Jennings is probably the X factor in this game. I do love me some Brandon Ayuk. I think when the 49ers drafted him, 4 years ago, that was a sneaky good draft pick. And my man at the time, Marcus, was definitely very, very high on that pick. Jameson says 49ers will win 31-17. What do you think, Coffee? Is that a good score?
I'd like it, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah, we'll get our game picks here in a minute. Tim Smith says the Lions and 49ers are built very similar. Both have tons of weapons, and I think they both will have few players with insane games on Sunday. Tim, I feel like you've been watching the Man Hour because my man Jay said this, back in September or October, Hoffy, and I kind of echoed the same thing. And I think the Detroit Lions are actually deeper at every position more than the old 49ers, but they're definitely built very similar through a nice running game, nickel and dime quarterback with some weapons on the outside. Ant says, is Debo playing? As of right now, he is. Hoffy, have you heard anything different about Debo not playing? Like, I know he's been limited in practice all week.
Yesterday, I hear it's 50-50. I think they're going to give him to I heard he was going to get yesterday off, but I think he actually practiced 50-50. I don't see him not playing, even if it's as a decoy. I think this game is too important, but I'm looking at the comment down here at the bottom from Carson Lang. You load the box against CMC and you trust man coverage on Debo, Ayuk, and Kittle. I just touched about it earlier. They're ranked 31st in man coverage defense. So
who is the 49ers are?
No.
Oh, the Lions.
The Lions. So yeah.
Wow.
As a 49ers fan, I love that. Go ahead, load the box against CMC and go man to man. You guys are second to last in the league in man to man coverage. So that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I guess watching the Lions games, they don't play a lot of man coverage anyways. They play a lot of that cloud, like cover 5 look. So with some safety on top, linebackers underneath, and sometimes mix and match there. So it could be a false stat, but if you want to put 8 guys in the box and man up with Debo and Ayuk, bring it on, right, Hoffy? Bring it on.
Yep.
Ant says the Lions may have a choice. They got to take that gamble. All right, Hoffy. With that being said, it's 10:30 here on the East Coast, January 26, 2024. We do have the Detroit Lions traveling to your Santa Clara, San Francisco 49ers. Santa Clara, California, home of the San Francisco 49ers, I should say. Who do you got winning this game and why?
I won't waffle around it, but to make it a win-win for me so I'm not completely devastated and heartbroken, I'm picking the Detroit Lions.
Why are you picking the Lions to win this game?
It's a win-win situation for me.
It's a win-win situation. Listen, I've said all season long that I thought the Detroit Lions were not going to win the NFC North, which they did, but I thought they were going to make some noise in the playoffs. I thought they were going to make it to the NFC Championship game. This is where they're at. The 49ers have been in the playoffs 4 times underneath Kyle Shanahan, and they've been in the NFC Championship 4 times. They've only won 1 of those games. Now, you can say, with Brock Purdy, we would have bet the Eagles. Okay, sure, whatever. You were down 20.
We were already down big last year when you got hurt, too.
21 points. This year, I think it comes down to the battle of the coaches. You have Dan Campbell big balls of steel, gambles every fourth down. He could be 4th and 20 on his side of the 30 and throw a fake punt and somehow get it, right? Kyle Shanahan always tries to kind of out-coach himself in these big games. He forgets what's gotten him to this point. It is going to come down to a special teams mistake, Coffee, whether it's a kickoff return, whether it's a punt return, missed field goal, missed PAT. Special teams are going to be the biggest factor in this game. And we've seen in big moments the San Francisco 49ers special teams shit the bed. Jake Moody, Cleveland Browns, wide right? With that being said, I'm not going to waffle around. San Francisco 49ers will win this game. I'm picking the San Francisco 49ers to win this game. I think Jake Moody and the special teams are going to have a nice, clean game. Brock Purdy is going to play a very game-managing type of game. CMC is going to have 150 yards, all-purpose offense, and Debo probably finds the end zone twice. And I'm picking 24-13 score. Kind of lopsided, but it's going to be closer than what the scoreboard says.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is going to come down to the coaches, and Aiden Hutchins has been playing pretty well. Brock Purdy struggled last week. I feel like he's due to kind of correct that, but big game last week, he didn't play so hot. Big game against Ants, Ravens, didn't play so hot. I don't. Jared Goff is one of the best game managers there is in the league right now. I don't see him making mistakes. So you can't make mistakes. If Brock Purdy has even one mistake, I think that's going to be, a huge costly mistake, regardless of how it happens, whether it's, in the red zone, whether it's on our, the 49ers side of the, of the field. You cannot turn the ball over against this Detroit Lions team. You have to allow Dan Campbell to shoot himself in the foot at some point, because I don't think Jared Goff is going to make any mistake. If he does make a mistake, it's a 3rd and long, and he throws a 60-yard intercept. Basically a punting interception per se. But yeah, I think it's really going to come down to the coaches, and like you said, Shanahan not getting away from what has got him to this dance. Seems like year in and year out. So we'll see.
All righty. So with that being said, John Peoples is picking the Detroit Lions 34-27 and says, I feel they should move. They made this a 3PA game instead of the AFC championship game. Tim agrees with me, I think. Agree with 100%. Tim, if you could clarify that, do you agree with Hoffy? Guy in the red?
Well, if they made the 49ers game a 3 o'clock game, it would really be a 12 o'clock game. So
yeah. It is what it is. And they want people sober when the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Ravens, so they don't want to. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself. Ant says the Ravens gave you the blueprint a few weeks ago to beat the 49ers. That is true. Pressure Brock Purdy, make him throw interceptions. Tim Smith says it looks like 27-24. I'm not for sure who's he's picking. Rizal is in the chat. He says Detroit Lions are hungry. What's up, Rizal? Glad to see you back, man. And then Ant says, "Oh yeah, right, Hoffy, because of the time difference." Yeah. Looks baby. I'm not sure what Tim's.
I think he meant to say Lions.
All right. Well, John brings up a great point.
Weather is projected to be like 60 degrees, John Peoples. There will not be rain.
Okay, because if it's raining game, Brock Purdy's out, and I'm going to change my pick. How about this? I want to pull a Hoffy. I'm going to put an asterisk by it. I reserve the right to change my pick if it's raining at kickoff.
No. Mine was I reserve the right to change my pick at the when the clock strikes 000.
Well, then I'm going to put a double asterisk and say if it's raining, I'm picking the Lions.
However, Carson Lang, had to talk his shit, so I didn't even need to. I didn't need that. That asterisk.
I forgot to tell you what my pop said though. He sent me a text when I think in the chat you need to pick a side of the fence or the fence.
Yeah, my fence was falling down.
Yeah, and my dad's like, man, Hoffy's a bitch, huh?
Fuck off, Papa Buck.
I was like, he's not wrong. No, I'm kidding.
Who,
But
me
Hoppy,
or him?
I'm not going to call my dad wrong. If you met my dad, you would understand. When my dad got back from Djibouti, Africa, he brought a book of, he gave me a book.
Djibouti, Africa?
Yeah, he was in Djibouti. You never have to wear a raincoat in Djibouti. But yeah, he was in Djibouti. So he brought back
It was
a book.
not in my booty.
And the book that he bought me or gave me, he read it over there. It was a 1,000 ways to kill somebody using your thumb. So, just yeah.
Papa Buck, you're a really nice man. I like
He's
you a lot.
insane in the membrane. As the who's that band? Insane in the membrane. Insane in the membrane. Who is that?
I know exactly who you're talking about.
God
but
dang it.
you're gonna have to-
Help me out, guys. Who sings that song? Insane in the
gotcha.
membrane. Oh, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. Tim says rain, and let's be honest, both quarterbacks fall apart when they're playing in the elements. I think Jared Goff's built a little bit better to play in the elements. He's a little bit taller, a little bit stronger. What?
Cypress Hill.
Cypress Hill. That's a California rapper. Anyways, moving on. Moving on. We do have the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Kansas City Chiefs, reigning Super Bowl champions. I have 3 ways each team can win their respective games. And I'm going to start with the Kansas City Chiefs, Hoffy. Number one is Chris Jones needs to take over this game. Playoff Chris Jones needs to step up and earn that $1 million contracts that he is getting. Millions and millions and millions of dollars. Chris Jones needs to take over this game. He needs to sack Lamar Jackson, keep him in the pocket, and get in Lamar Jackson's face over and over and over again. Get underneath Lamar Jackson's skin. Chris Jones will be the key factor for this game. Number 2, don't forget about Isaiah Pacheco. Let Isaiah Pacheco control the clock. One of the best things about the Baltimore Ravens so far this season is their defense's ability to keep teams off of the field. Their offense has been putting together nice, long, productive drives, and the defense is like 3 and out. Give me a beer. I'm going to sit here for the next 10 minutes. So they're always fresh. So I want the Kansas City Chiefs to use and abuse Isaiah Pacheco like they started to do versus the Buffalo Bills, but use him even more. I want to see that 25, 30 touches. And then on the other side, Travis Kelce needs to have another big game. You have the greatest quarterback on the planet on the field, and that's Patrick freaking Mahomes, and Travis Kelce needs to elevate his play again. Travis Kelce has been kind of lying under the radar all season long. He started off this year injured, kind of been battling back and forth, finally found his role in this new offense, and he exploded last week, and he needs to continue to explode onto the map. So Chris Jones needs to take over for the Kansas City Chiefs, sack Patrick Mahomes, pressure him, keep him in the pocket, just make Lamar Jackson very uncomfortable. Jay Pacheco needs to control the clock, give that man the ball over and over and over again, and Travis Kelce needs to have another huge game. Now, on the other side of the coin, the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens, guys, have been to the AFC Championship game 5 times in their career. This is their 5th time. But this is the first time ever that they will be hosting an AFC Championship game. So the city of Baltimore, the Ravens, the old school Browns fans are going to be very, very emotional, very, very loud. Don't let the moment be too big for the Baltimore Ravens. Don't get tired using all of the pregame energy and hype and forget that you still have to play a game.
So don't be a teenager and blow your load too early.
Exactly. That is time after time again. We see teams that get too excited and they forget, like, oh shit, we got a whole nother game to play still. Next is ride the bus. Gus Edwards has been a man on a mission, averaging 4.7 yards a carry and 180 yards so far this the last few games here. Gus Edwards has been running like a man on a mission for the Baltimore Ravens. Let him control the clock for you and keep the Kansas City Chiefs offense off of the field. And lastly, penetrate the backfield and finish the play. Just because you get in the backfield, I need you to sack Patrick Mahomes, put him on his back. The Baltimore Ravens do not have one player in top 10 in sacks this season. As a team, they're ranked 17th in sacks for the total season. Get to Patrick Mahomes and put him on the back. So, Hoffy.
Whoa. I thought the Ravens are first in sacks, aren't they?
No, they're not.
I believe they were.
Are they? Then I misread the stats then. That is my fault.
Yeah, Baltimore Ravens were first in the NFL in sacks.
Okay. I just assumed that's my fault. I assumed since TJ Watt, dominated the sack category and the Baltimore Ravens don't have one player in the top 10, I just assumed.
But I agree. They need to not only get in the backfield, they need to bring them down, because when you get in the backfield, I don't even know how you want to explain his running. He runs like some sort of tiptoeing diva, but he finds some magic in those dancing feet of his and makes them. No, I'm talking about Mahomes.
Oh, Mahomes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you don't want him running around and not being able to tackle him, because you allow him to run around. At some point, he's going to find somebody and he's going to make a big play.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes reminds me of this player that I played in high school. His name was Kyle Kruger. His dad was actually a very good quarterback for Arizona State Wildcats, and now is a coach there. But this kid only ran like let's say 4.9 40-yard dash, but he was very distinctively like you look slow, so your angle to him was just bad, and the next thing you know, he's past you. You're like, what the hell, right? Patrick Mahomes is not fast by any stretch of the imagination. He's a fat ass quarterback. That gut, I'm like, how do you get that beer gut, man? But his beer gut is hanging over his pants, and somehow some
Have you
way
seen him on the golf course?
No.
He's chugging beers on the golf course.
Is he?
How else would he?
He's a very thick
and he's
individual.
got to put up with that batshit crazy wife of his. I'd have a freaking beer gut too if I had to deal with her.
She's not crazy. She's a very beautiful, well-rounded person, Alfie. Did you know that she used to be a professional
Let's be honest,
player?
Buck. All women are crazy.
No, they're not. My wife's amazing.
Is she watching the show right now?
She may or may not be. I don't know.
Yeah. So, what if I told you she was not watching the show, and her and Judy were on the phone right now?
I can
and
tell
this was
you.
Not gonna get. She was not going to watch this back.
I can tell you that I still love her. So with that being said, Hoffy,
who's the bitch?
This guy.
Anyways, around.
My balls are still up on the shelf and the counter. Sometimes I jingle them just to make sure that they're still there. But with that being said, Hoffy, obviously the Ravens and Chiefs are going to be a very, very good matchup. Going to be a nice afternoon matchup, 3:00 matchup, yada, 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 right? So factor crap, Hoffy. Can the Baltimore Ravens get to Patrick Mahomes and put him on his back?
Yes. Isn't Joe Tooney out on this game too?
Yeah, that's a blessing in disguise.
We will find out.
The Chiefs are the most penalized offensive line in the league. Anytime we can get a starter out of there that's not going to hold, give me somebody, right? Give me somebody.
Yes, I think that the Baltimore Ravens will be able to get to Patrick Mahomes, and they will be able to bring him down as well. I still think it's Patrick Mahomes. He's still going to make one or two big plays, when you do penetrate that backfield. But I think they will be able to, contain him, shut down that middle pocket so he can't per se step up. And I think when he does step up, he's going to, run into some problems there. So, yes, I think they will be able to take him down.
So with that being said, Hoffy, if I am reading this correctly and going back and looking at the stats right, the last 5 playoff games, Patrick Mahomes has not been sacked. So
I believe that would be a fact, but you might have just jinxed it.
Could have, and I hope I do. Go Ravens. But with that being said,
you're so full of shit. Your eyes are brown.
They are. But we've been hearing this Lamar Jackson versus Patrick Mahomes versus whatever, right? I think the key matchup for this game is going to be Roquan Smith, Javavion Clowney, Hamilton, and the rest of that defense versus Mahomes, Kelsey, and Pacheco. When you look at this matchup, if you hear the names of Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen over and over and over again, I think the Baltimore Ravens will ultimately win this game. So with that being said, Hoffy, fact or crap, can the Baltimore Ravens control the three-headed monster of Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Isaiah Pacheco?
Yeah, you mentioned his name as well when you said Roquan Smith, Patrick Queen, Jadeveon Clowney, but I think the one name that you are going to have nightmares, or Patrick Mahomes is going to have nightmares about, is Hamilton. He was an absolute force to be reckoned with pretty much all season, but played a huge part in that Niners game, and I think that he is going to be a yes. I do think that Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen are very important pieces to this defense, but Hamilton has an Ed Reed like mentality, skill set to him. I think that and like Tom Brady said, whenever he got under center, it was find where Reed is and find where Ray Lewis is. He's going to have to find Roquan Smith, but the most important person he's going to have to find is Hamilton and figure out where he is matched up, because chances are he's either going to be matched up on Kelce or he's going to be on someone like Rashee Rice over the top. So that is the one guy that I'm afraid of. But fact, if you hear those names, you're in for a bad day.
Yeah, and when we say hear those names, we hear those names in a good way. Oh, Roquan Smith pressured Patrick Mahomes. Roquan Smith with the interception. Patrick Queen with a sack. Now, if they're bad, obviously, Hamilton just got burned by MVS again. It is going to take a whole different swing of this game. But I see a lot of people in the chat right now, Huffy, are picking the Ravens in the blowout. John says Baltimore blows out the Pussy Farts 38-18 or 38-17, and I see a more people picking the Ravens as well. And I think one person that did pick the Chiefs was Tim Smith. I want to say he said he's picking the Chiefs in the upset. So you've heard my keys to victory. Who do you think's winning this game and why?
I mean, Josh Allen was able to run the ball well in spots against the Chiefs, particularly in the red zone. I mean, Jackson's not as a physical runner as Josh Allen is, but he can escape long runs. He can convert red zone trips to touchdowns with his running skills. I think if Jackson has an effective afternoon running the ball, the Ravens will be tough to beat, and I think that. I think that's going to be the case. I think Jackson is finally going to break through here and earn his flowers.
So, with that being said, when I pick the Kansas City Chiefs to win this game, I'm going to be called a hater, a racist, yada yada yada, because I don't think Lamar Jackson is a top 3 quarterback in this league, and because of that. One of Lamar Jackson's biggest flaws is when he is pressured in the pocket, his instinct is to run backwards. His instinct is not to step up in the pocket and try to find a gap. His instinct is to run back as fast as he can and throw off this back foot and find somebody open. The Kansas City Chiefs defensive line is sneakily pretty athletic. They are going to keep Lamar Jackson in the pocket, and they're going to pressure Lamar Jackson a lot. If Lamar Jackson, in his head, can step up into the pocket and not step back, the Baltimore Ravens can win this game. But you do not change your instincts overnight. It took Lamar Jackson 3 years to be comfortable in the pocket to start throwing some darts. So with that being said, I think Chris Jones, Kavakovich, Nick Bolton and those boys are going to get to Lamar Jackson, and he's going to throw a couple interceptions. I think so far this season he had 7 interceptions to 25 touchdowns. Pretty good ratio, 1 to 2, right? Or 1 to 3, whatever it is. I would anticipate Nick Bolton gets at least 1, if not 2 interceptions, and he's a linebacker. Why is he going to get interceptions? Because Lamar Jackson's going to be running backwards and throwing off his back foot. If Lamar Jackson does that, he's probably going to get knocked out of the game like he did in the Buffalo Bills game a couple years ago, and the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win this game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any stretch of the imagination. I think the Ravens defense is one of the best in the league. Right now, I would take them over the 49ers, over the Chiefs, over the Lions. I think the Ravens have the best defense right now. So I'm picking the Kansas City Chiefs to win this game 27-25. Let's go ahead and jump into the chat here, Hoffy. People are fighting about CJ Mosley. Isn't he still with the Jets? I'm pretty sure. Let's scroll down here. John says Jason Reed, the Lions are due and San Francisco too comfortable. They will underestimate the Lions. I don't think so. I don't think you can underestimate the Detroit Lions at this particular point. Demetrius Watts says wishful thinking. Wishful thinking that Lamar Jackson is going to run backwards. No, it is facts. Even in the Houston game, Hoffy, when the Houston Texans kept Lamar Jackson in the pocket and they gave him pressure, what did Lamar Jackson do? He ran backwards and threw off his back foot. Luckily, I think it was Zay Flowers made an amazing shoestring catch, but it is what it is. Jim Powell's in the chat. Long time no see, Jim. He said the Chiefs over pursue on the ends. No, they won't. They will not do it. They will not do it this weekend. Break the hips of the lineman, put the hand out, sit down and squat. That's all they're going to do. Pressure on the inside. Tim Smith says Ravens are a great overall team. They are. They are a great overall team. But, Hoffy, what have I been saying about the Kansas City Chiefs all season long? We have yet to see their A game, right? We saw it a little bit against the Buffalo Bills. And if we see that again against the Baltimore Ravens don't stand a chance, do they?
Depends. Are we going to see the Baltimore Ravens of the first half versus the Texans? Or are we going to see the Baltimore Ravens of the second half versus the Texans?
That's a great point. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah. I mean, let's say we see the Baltimore Ravens in the second half, right? The same Baltimore defense that gave Brock Purdy 4
You're going to need to see that Baltimore Ravens the entire game. The Baltimore Ravens are not going to be able to play the way they played against the Texans. If they play that way, they're going to lose. If they play, a full 60-minute game the way they played that second half, they win. So I guess it's on the Chiefs to replicate that first half of what the Texans were able to do in that game. That will be the key to who wins this game.
Yeah, and Ant brings up a point that I have totally forgotten, right? Monken will be the X factor for the game. So he is the Baltimore Ravens offensive coordinator. But let's not forget, Hoffy, there has been a lot of interviews this weekend on the coordinator sides of things, right? Johnson for the Detroit Lions spent 3 days with the Washington Commanders this week. The Ravens offensive coordinator interviewed in a few spots as well. So Monken might be the X factor, but is his head really in it? Does he have one foot out the door? He's like, I want to be the head coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going to be the head coach for the Minnesota Vikings. Just saying.
This is Monken's first year as their coordinator, right? Didn't he win a national championship last year with Georgia? And
I believe so.
It
may have been 2 years ago.
2 with Georgia or something like that.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure. Demetrius says Baltimore's winning by 10. I could definitely see it. And then Jim Powell says habits die hard. Very, very, very true. Old habits die hard. And Carson says Ravens have a healthier defense than the Baltimore or than the Buffalo Bills did. And sorry about your luck. What do you want me to say? I don't know. But Javi, just to recap here, you are taking the Lions and the Ravens, right?
Yes.
And I'm taking the Chiefs and the 49ers. So one of us is going to be really, really happy. One of us is going to be really, 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 really sad. It better not be a split decision.
Well, I mean, I'm going to be happy either way with the NFC Championship. I'm either right or my team wins.
Right.
And same thing with the AFC Championship game. If I'm right, I'm happy. If I'm wrong, at least my co-host is happy. So that's all that.
There we go.
That's all that matters.
I like the way you think. Ant says the bank is going to be rocking here in Baltimore. You know what? Baltimore, Maryland is only like 6 hours away from where I live. I might drive up there just to tailgate, just to have a good time. Put on my Justin Reed jersey.
Pull a Jason Kelsey.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously I won't be in a press box or like in the game. I can't afford those $3,000 tickets that are going for. Did you see how much those tickets are going for, man?
Yeah, but did you see what he was doing before the game? He went out to like some bar and was getting shithoused there, and then was doing shots out of bowling balls. So
yeah, it is.
I think he said he was what 40 at least 40 beers deep, plus some shots of whatever was. He's like, you don't ask questions when someone hands you a bowling ball full of some sort of alcohol.
True.
So yeah,
very, very
I
true.
would like to just hang out with that guy and just see how much he could put down.
Yeah, I don't think I want to see how much he can put down.
I'm not saying I want to keep up with him. I just want to sit there and watch him.
Ant says, good luck to both of you. Listen, I'm excited for... I just hope that there is no controversy call to sway the game one way or the other, because we know it is going to happen, and we know people are going to talk about it. I just hope it doesn't happen, to be honest. Jim says, this is where the KC defense wins the AFC Championship, or they'll lose it. That is more plausible. All about Kansas City.
You know what
defense.
I want to see?
What?
I would like to see a game-winning touchdown with like 3 seconds left by Travis Kelce, if we're being completely honest.
Yeah.
And then I want to see him just absolutely break out and do the Ray Lewis dance in the end zone.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Ant says, F those tickets, I'll be at the bar. We might have to join that. Might have to join you. All right, Hoffy. That's it for this week's show. Next week, we have NFL awards. Kind of a bye week. Got Pro Bowl, flag football. Yay. And then the Super Bowl.
I can't wait.
Send us out, big guy.